And then we come to Blackwood Farm. Blackwood Farm is amazing. If you have not read Blackwood Farm, I really highly recommend this one. I really, really do. Of course, it's the ninth novel in the Vampire Chronicles. And again, it's the ninth novel of Vampire Chronicle and the fifth in the Mayfair Witch series. And it continues the unified story of that. And this was published in 2002. And, as a matter of fact, I have it right here. Blackwood Farm is it's a great book. I've read this several times, and I'm wearing out the cover. In her new novel, she fuses her two uniquely strains of narrative, the vampires and the Mayfair witches, to give us a world of classic deep South luxury and ancestral secrets. Welcome to Blackwood Farm. Soaring white columns, spacious drawing rooms, sun-drenched gardens, and a dark strip of dense sugar devil swamp. This is the world of Quinn Blackwood, a brilliant young man hunted since birth by a mysterious doppelganger, a spirit known as Goblin, a spirit from a dream world that Quinn can't escape and that prevents him from belonging anywhere. When Quinn is made a vampire, losing all that is rightfully his and gaining an unwanted immortality, his doppelganger is even more vampiric than he is, and more terrifying than Quinn himself. And the novel moves, backward and forward in time, from Quinn's boyhood on Blackwood Farm to present-day New Orleans, from ancient Pompeii to 19th century Naples. Quinn seeks out the legendary vampire Lestat in the hope of freeing himself from the specter that drives him back to Sugar Devil Swamp and the explosive secrets it holds. Blackwood Farm is a family saga, capturing both the dramas and subtleties of family as it tells a story of youth and promises, of loss and the search for love, of secrets and destiny. And this one is one of the best that Anne Rice has ever written, I believe, since The Witching Hour and, of course, the Vampire Chronicles were good. But it's just, I think it is amazing. I can't say enough of it. So that's the essence of Blackwood Farm. You have Quinn Blackwood. He's a child of the Blackwood clan, of course. And it's an old and powerful family in New Orleans, which, of course, you have your, what they call old money and new money type thing. So, but he's haunted by a spirit named Goblin, and it's attached to him. And he realizes he's unable to defeat this creature by himself. So, risking his life, he embarks upon a quest to enlist the help of Lestat. And Lestat agrees to help him. And as it goes on, Quinn recounts tales of his growing up and his family and his forced conversion and acceptance of the dark gift by Petronia. And his stories allow Lestat to better understand Goblin. He continues to haunt him. And Goblin is really... Before he was a vampire, he's just a mischievous ghost, causing trouble and such. Now that Quinn's a vampire, that's even more so. He's dangerous. And Lestat also discovers Quinn is connected to the Mayfair clan of witches, who also makes New Orleans its home. So he's related to the Mayfair witches. So, combined with his failure to this information, and with his failure to defeat Goblin, this forces Lestat to request an aid from Merrick, who's a powerful Mayfair witch turned vampire, and she's agreed to help. And it's revealed that this now bloodthirsty Goblin, who looks exactly like Quinn, is in fact a baby boy spirit, the spirit of Quinn's twin brother, who died only after days of his birth. So that's why he's attached himself to Quinn. He's actually his twin brother. But he did not leave this world, and he is bound to Quinn, and he is so jealous to experience what Quinn does. So Merrick has a ritual using the corpse of the dead twin to exorcise Goblin. And during this ritual, Merrick joins herself with the flame and the corpse, and she carries her spirit and that of the child to the light and perishes. And Lestat is so upset for losing Merrick he adored. But now he has Quinn, another vampire child to cherish. Yeah, the ritual that entailed that. She sacrificed herself, but took the child to the... She felt so sorry for the child that he didn't move on and everything, so she did it herself. So Blackwood Farm is one of my favorites, and I think you should give it a shot. I think you'd really enjoy it. I think it is so well written. Again, this was in 2002, and again, it brings together the vampires and the Mayfair witches. It's just, the way she incorporates this is wonderful. So if you get a chance, go ahead and read this one. I'm going to come to the last and 10th book in the Mayfair, the Vampire Chronicles. I was going to say something. What was it? I know this is kind of boring, and I promise next week it'll be a little better and even better after that. Also, Lisa, if you're listening, if you're not, I will get you that recipe. Okay, and I'd like to do a show on summer getaways from the podcasters where you live. Like I'm going to do the urban legends. I want to do some day getaways for you guys, and day trips, what's around by you guys, and give people some ideas. Okay, we have the last and 10th book in the Vampire Chronicles. It's called Blood Canticle, and it starts where Blackwood Farm left off, and tells the story of Lestat's quest for redemption, goodness, and the love of Rowan Mayfair. Rowan Mayfair, that's a whole nother thing. And then, of course, we have Prince Lestat, the newest one. This was in what is that published? Blood Canticle, 2003. So, Rice said in her 2008 interview, her vampires were a metaphor for lost souls. And the homoerotic overtone of the Vampire Chronicles are so well documented. As of November 2008, they had sold 80 million copies worldwide. Interesting. So we have Blood Canticle. Do I have that one down here? I wasn't sure if I brought that one down. Blood Canticle. No, I got Servant of the Bones, which is, I'll talk about after a bit. Some of her other books are fantastic. I'm so glad she went back to the vampire series. This is in Blood Canticle 2003. And of course, it incorporates the new characters from Blackwood Farm with those from her previous Vampire Chronicles and Mayfair Witches. So you got a whole combination of things going on. You got the Blackwood Farm now involved. It was originally to conclude the saga of Rice's famed vampire Lestat. But then Prince Lestat came out, which I was so happy about. which I have, but like I said, I haven't read that one yet. Again, Blood Canticle is narrated by Lestat, and he finds young Mayfair witch and heiress Mona wasting away. She's victim to a mysterious disease brought on by the birth of her daughter. As the novel goes on, Mona and her guardian, Rowan, reveal more and more about the genetic plague that has haunted the Mayfairs for generations, which they did not know. The Talamasca knows, but they didn't know. And their connection to the Taltos. The Taltos are an advanced species of human to which both women have given birth. We all know the giants, okay? Taltos is kind of about that. That's what they are. A Taltos is kind of like a... they're giants for sure, but they're called Taltos. And it's this genetic plague that the women carry. And, of course, Mona and Quinn are in love. So Lestat turns a dying Mona into a vampire. And so Quinn and Mona can be together forever. So they're now, if Quinn had changed her, they could not have lived together. Or if you give the gift to somebody, in turn, eventually you cannot even be together. It's something to do with the genetics in there. Fledgling vampires and their makers are forever unable to read each other's minds. So that's part of the reason. Okay, and while trying to prevent Mona's family from discovering she's a vampire, Lestat falls in love with Rowan, and secretly she pines for him as well. Mona adjusts to her new power, and Lestat enlists the ancient vampire Maharet to help find Mona's Taltos child. And Lestat, Quinn, and Mona arrive at a remote island colony of the Taltos. Instead of finding a secluded utopia, they discover that years of criminal intrigue and civil war have taken their toll. The remaining Taltos join the Mayfair clan at their New Orleans Medical Center, where they learn and grow to be together as a family. And Mona and Quinn are taken by a vampire teacher to be properly instructed. Rowan seeks out Lestat, half in love with him, but torn by her love for her husband, Michael. Exhausted by her life, she requests that he give her the dark gift. Lestat says no, but because she is a guiding force for the Mayfair family and cannot take that away from him. In Blood Canticle, you find out what the Taltos basically are. And they're kind of like the giants. And, this goes into their more genetic plague that they have. Michael, Rowan had saved. She's a surgeon, and she basically has the power of life and death. Just by the touch of her hand, she can see what's wrong. She knows what's wrong with you. So, in essence, she's a brilliant surgeon in that way. But she's also a Mayfair witch, which she finds out during this process. So, those are the Vampire Chronicles, and from beginning to end, Lestat is there. He's always in an adventure somewhere. And Louis, appears now and again, but then you tie them all together with the Mayfair witches and the new Blackwood clan, and you've got a whole new world again. And it's how she ties these books together that makes it so fascinating. There is a book called Taltos, so you may, that kind of gives a background on what they are. It's kind of a like I said, it's kind of a background. This was done in 1994.